So my name is Francis Pujeda. I'm the Director for Emerging Technologies in Globe Telecom Philippines. So right now, I'm excited to share with you the journey that we have for adopting citizen development in Globe Telecom. So just to give you a little background of our company, Globe Telecom is one of the leading telecommunications company in the Philippines. Now, if you look at the picture or the slide, you won't actually see a telecommunication company in that image, right? It's really because we are in a journey of transformation from a legacy telecommunication to a technology company, a techco. And we're using the telecom part as a what you call competitive advantage in creating these digital companies. If you can see in our portfolio, we have GCash. There's a double unicorn fintech. We also have AdTech, Health Tech, Climatech, investment. So there's a lot of our portfolio in the Globe Group. And our mission is simple. We want to help our country in terms of building an ecosystem of digital solutions. It's really more empowering our nation. We want to help in terms of our country's family, where family's dreams come true, businesses flourish, and the nation is admired. So a couple of years ago, we have this challenge in our company. There's a lot of manual processes. And these manual processes, we kind of try making solution on these processes. But because of there's a lot of things that we need to work on, meaning there are a lot of big projects that we need to, and we have limited in terms of budget and resources, then these initiatives, niche processes, are often deprioritized in terms of implementation. So, and that's really the barriers of execution. It's expensive. If you want to automate something and you have a solution in mind to do it, it's expensive to build it ground up or do a change request to an enterprise solution. It requires business case. Oftentimes, the people who are experiencing the problem doesn't really know how to build a business case, or there's no really business case. It's expensive. There's no real business case. And the priority projects takes priority. So what we thought of is really, at this time, we actually didn't know the term citizen development. We just know that we have a problem in terms of manual processes and we need to solve them. And after 3 years, we were able to achieve these results. And I'll discuss later on in greater detail about these results. So this one really is why we did in terms of citizen development. So businesses normally will focus on projects that will bring high value, either through revenues, through regulation, or through strategic initiatives. They will take priority. They will always be priority on top of niche processes or small initiatives. So they are left and they are left in terms of manual processes. So people who are experiencing these manual processes often does a workaround either through Google Sheet, Google Form, or most of the time we have shadow IT. We introduce software that are not supported by the corporate, and it poses another challenge. So we basically create band-aid solutions that provides another problem, and those problem compounds. So what we thought of when we look in terms of how do we solve this niche processes, this long tail, and we thought of when we saw AppSheet as a solution, then we kind of experiment on can we really use AppSheet in terms of addressing this long tail of niche processes. So our journey is actually, we tested AppSheet. We kind of get one of our software developer try AppSheet for a week. And he couldn't figure it out. There's a challenge in him to really work on AppSheet to be able to create an application. Okay, so the next one, we called in a technical project manager who's not a developer in any way. We introduced him to AppSheet, and we gave him a challenge. And after a week, he was able to solve the problem through AppSheet. And that's something that we found, that AppSheet is really meant for non-developers, non-software developers. So great. This AppSheet can be a solution to address the long tail. But the next question is, so how can we share it to employees? How can we find the employees who will work on or experiment on their processes to kind of work on the AppSheet or no code? So we need to find the people who are frustrated with the manual processes. These employees who are doing the workarounds and really frustrated because they can't find any way to solve these problems, this manual process, the automation for these kind of problems. So we thought of, why not do a hackathon? But for this one, we'll do a NoCode Hackaton. So the NoCode Hackaton is really targeted for early adopters. These are the employees seeking specialized manual, automate specialized manual tasks or niche processes. And still right now, they're unsatisfied with the outcomes. So we launched the NoCode Hackathon at the start of pandemic. So everybody's working from home. And we thought of, yeah, okay, let's have 30 teams join the hackathon and do training, do mentoring to them. But let's invite them. So we sent an open invitation to our employees, targeting 30 teams. And we got 109 registrations. And that's so big. That means that there are a lot of employees really wanted to solve their processes, want to automate their processes. And so we need to make some changes. I actually asked my team, can we stretch out? How many teams can we support for the NoCode Hackathon without compromising with the quality of trainings that we're going to give? So we stretch out to 60, but also we didn't really let go of the 49, the remaining 49. So we kind of divided the employees into two batches. One, we'll provide training, we'll provide mentoring, and we assign actually coaches to do mentoring. These coaches are pre-trained for AppSheet, and their task is never let the team give up, because it's so easy for us for employees to give up. Never let them to give up. If they are experiencing any roadblock, then help them. If you don't have the answer, we can always reach out to Google to help this out. And the 49, they don't receive the formal training. They don't receive the mentoring. They have the documents. They have the recording. And after 2 months, we have 59 applications. These applications are non-existent before, but these citizen developers or employees in the NoCode Hackathon were able to create 59 applications. For those 60, for those who got the training, formal training, 80% were able to create application. For those who are unsupervised, 20% were able to create applications. So the total is really more, 59 applications done coming from the 109 teams who registered for the NoCode Hackathon. And I think we were successful in doing this because the developers, the citizen developers, are actually the end users. They understand the problem. because those are their own problem. It's unlike the usual project wherein we provide all the requirements and somebody else pitch into those requirements and it becomes bloated. This one, they're the one building and they know the problem. So they are able to solve their own problems. And these are the examples. Security team is not the IT security, is the team who managing security guards. So they have manual process and they were able to create their own application. And this is the time that we just introduced the NoCode, the app sheet. We have auditors. Actually, for these auditors, they have a project who's been deprioritized for months. And every time there's a resource open, somebody else gets a bigger project always get those. So they always been deprioritized. So they build the project. They actually have like 100 spreadsheets that they need to make a report, and it takes 2 weeks to be able to do that report on a quarterly basis. And now they were able to do it in real time. And this one were created by employees, non-developers. So after the hackathon, the question is really more, how do we sustain this one? And we have 3 pillars in terms of sustainability: technology, process, and people, in order to innovate, automate, and scale. So if we just throw in app sheet to them, do whatever you want, it won't work. Because we need to support people with the proper training and the proper process. So in terms of training, we actually customize our own training to make it more relatable to our employees. We also created a community online so that employees will help each other out whenever they have problems or questions. And also for us to announce something new, and also to promote our employees, meaning showcase the applications that built by employees to other employees. We also kept the coaching and mentoring because we found out that citizen developers still need help, and we need it through coaching. Governance is really more for the process. If you put the governance for the no-code or the citizen development with the standard governance of project, the program will die because they require a different kind of handling. They need to make it easy, make it laymanized. Actually, one of the employees commented that it's easier to build application than to have it approved by the IT security. And that's something that we need them to help on. So we've been developing complex use cases, one of which is an internal e-commerce app. So that's from inventory to payment up to delivery. We're offering discounted mobile devices to our employees. Next one is HR Clearance Central. So clearance, in a way, employees have accountability to HR, to maybe a vehicle, maybe a laptop, maybe some loans, and there are a couple of people that need to have clearance too. When you don't have, when you leave the company, you don't have the email, it's difficult to coordinate. So what we did is employees will nominate personal email, and all the messaging will be in the app. So no messaging, no transactions will be left out. And last is the G-Climate. It's actually a complex application. We kind of predict cell site outages due to typhoons through AIML. The backend is a complicated development, but the front end, we use AppSheet in terms of for our engineers to access those kind of predictions. So this is my last slide. We have 331 citizen developers with active applications. This means that we have 331 more developers, software developers in the company who's doing AppSheet or doing citizen development. 1,411 active applications. Active applications being used right now. If we check how many applications have we created, it's around 8,000. But the important number is really more how many no-code applications are we using right now. We were able to provide 79.8% efficiency in terms of turnaround time of the application and 3 years benefit of $6.7 million. So as a takeaway, it's really more from us, it's really more capturing the long tail. When you're capturing the long tail, remove the barriers for adoption. If the approval process is tedious, then take out that approval process, make it available for everyone. If it's expensive to build, take out that, make it free for all employees to build application. And since it contests with IT resources, software developer resources, this one, it doesn't need software resources. They are the resource needed to develop the applications. Second is really more, we are at different stage of maturity in terms of citizen development. We won't be able to convince ourselves that we're in number 5 in terms of maturity. No, because all employees are in different stages of maturity. And it will always be the way. Some will be very good, some will be starting, some will be in the middle. So we need to mentor them in those different stages. We need to help them. We need to understand that not everyone will be expert in terms of app sheet or no-code development. And lastly, it is a Toyota, not a Lexus. So there are limitations in terms of user experience because of it is templated, because it's no-code. But that's okay because the important part is the functionality. AppSheet has a great functionality in terms of workflow, email notification, and in terms of security and privacy, it's already part of the solution. So try not to be more demanding in terms of creating application, but it's really meant to help in terms of your long tail applications.